Hi, I'm Tom Mihawk, and welcome back for important personal finance issues for May 2021 graduates. Thanks for coming back. Glad to have you. We have one more segment to go. We started out introducing the reason for this video to talk about school loans, healthcare plans, purchasing a car, credit and credit scores and spending, and also purchasing consumer goods. We're going to start this one. We covered school loans and healthcare in number one, and we're going to start with purchasing a car in number two. Now you know this, right? But this makes sense. To purchase a car, you want to get your information, consider your alternatives, determine a purchase price, purchase outright the vehicle with cash or writing a check, but effectively cash, or finance the vehicle by borrowing or leasing it. And then you have after purchase activities related to owning a motor vehicle too. Do your homework. Know the prices for your car. Know what options you want. The car's age if it's used and its mileage if it's used. Be willing or prepared to negotiate. Now, there are places you can go, CarSense and CarMax, and even I helped my daughter purchase a car. My wife and I helped our daughter purchase a car a few months ago, and I think it was called AutoNation. And they had a no negotiating policy, but most of the time you have to negotiate. If you're uncomfortable with negotiating, bring someone with you who's experienced. Bring a parent, bring a friend, right? And if you are alone, you still may want to have, even if you're good at it, have someone to go with you, someone who can take notes, remember what you last talked about. You want to be in a good position when you negotiate. You don't want to forget things. And when you go with someone else, and if the auto salesperson mentioned certain things, the person you're with might remember, and they can digest things and offer ideas. Shop near the end or on the last day of the month. Auto dealers and auto sales groups want to get rid of their cars and get them off the lot by the end of the month. And be willing to walk away if you need to as part of your negotiation. Go the day before the last day and then walk out and then come back. Be willing to do, maybe they sound dramatic, but these are negotiating tactics, and you should consider using them. Double check the price as you change your various options. You may find that if you take one option and not another, or they offer something because it's available in the car already, that you'll get a deduction versus the full cost of that option. Because again, the dealer or whomever you're buying from wants to get rid of the car. Look for financing packages or special models if you're at a dealership that they want in particular to sell. You might get a better price relative to its full price. Choose an experienced salesperson, someone who loves the brand of car you're looking at, and call the dealer, ask for a referral. Now, they may refer you to the salesperson that needs the most sales. That could very much well happen. But as I said, we helped our daughter purchase a car a few months ago. I called the dealer in advance, was referred to a young person, but he was terrific. I mean, he wasn't like right out of school, but he was terrific. He knew the cars, knew them well, knew their value, knew the costs. When we negotiated back and forth, he was knowledgeable, and he knew the costs and the prices, and I think we were able to help our daughter get a very good deal. Financing. Check your bank for rates. Know what your bank offers relative to what the dealer's offering. Often dealers have very low rates, and in recent years, better than what banks would offer, but you never know. Check what's called the APR, which is for the all-in cost. The APR includes not only the borrowing cost, but also fees and things like that to give you a true apples-to-apples comparison. Now, a lot of people ask about leasing. Leasing can lower your payments. You essentially, you may have a much smaller initial payment too. So if you're trying to get into a car at a low cost, a lease is worth considering. We've leased recently, but in the past we leased when our children were young. We needed a four-wheel drive vehicle, and we needed low cost. We've leased for a different reason now, which is the bottom bullet, which is we feel that it offers us for a period of time the maximum cost. All maintenance, all repairs, everything's under warranty. We know our maximum out-of-pocket cost for the car during the time that we are leasing it. You don't own it. You're effectively renting the vehicle for the difference between, let's say this is the purchase price, and here's zero, and here's the residual value. So you're renting the car for some period of time, 3 years, 4 years, effectively for the difference between the purchase price and the residual value. That's the value of the car that the dealer assigns that it will have when the lease is finished. You sometimes have mileage maximums. During these last few years, this is recorded, last year rather, of the COVID pandemic, nobody's driven anywhere almost. And so mileage maximums haven't mattered. But if you have to commute to work or drive even farther than that, a lease can be prohibitive. And there are charges for exceeding the amount of your mileage maximums. Understand the terms of your lease, the financing rate, the fees, the residual value, and how your monthly payments are calculated. And again, leasing is renting. You don't own the car. If you don't want to own the car, if you don't want to keep the car beyond a certain number of years, maybe leasing is best for you. Keep your expenses lower. And if you don't mind having a car payment constantly. I've owned for 20 years 2 cars. I've owned them outright. Once they're fully paid, they're mine. Now then typically you're responsible for repairs, but I've bought very good cars. They've lasted a long time. I keep them in good shape. I maintain them. And now I've had a period of ownership of probably 5 or 6 or 7 years where, I've had only repair costs. After purchase, maintain the car regularly. Have it serviced completely for the longest operation. Do these boring, simple things like oil changes and transmission fluid changes and antifreeze changes. Not every time. Do according to what the manufacturer recommends, but don't slack off on those. Get those done when they are recommended to be done. If you have it serviced, you can have it serviced at your dealer, a reputable independent repair shop, sometimes service stations. Seek referrals. People around you know who they take their car to. Ask them and watch for costs. And operate the car properly. Use the correct gas grade. Fill your tires with proper air pressure. Too much or too little can cause uneven wear on your tires. Replace worn wipers. You don't always have to get those at the dealership, by the way. You can go to places like secondary sellers. They're all over that can provide less expensive costing windshield wipers that do a great job. Drive at responsible speeds. Brake normally, not excessively. And garage your car if possible. Garaging your car, think of it. You drive to work, drive home, your car's in the garage from 8 at night till 7 the next morning. Half the car's life is spent undercover. It's a great way to extend the life of your car. Spending. This is in the chapter on credit and credit scores. Let's talk about spending trade-offs, right? To buy something, you can use current income, but that reduces the amount you have to save and invest. You can take from savings or investments to purchase things, but it reduces your future stability and limits your ability to achieve your future financial goals. You can borrow, but that requires repayment, right? Usually with interest, meaning your out-of-pocket cost is more than if you just paid for it outright. So the best way to handle spending is to spend less than you earn. Plan on spending as a manageable portion of your net worth. One rule of thumb is 50, 30, 20. 50 being the portion that goes towards your required payments, 20 and 30 being towards your entertainment and towards your saving for the future. It's a great way to look at it. And borrow only when necessary for valuable purposes. Remember we talked in the first segment of this chapter about good versus bad spending, good versus bad debt rather. School loans, good debt within reason. Home mortgage, good debt. Tuition loans for children, good debt, right? Understand its cost and the importance of repayment and repayment strategies. There are some personal finance influencers who counsel no debt. And I've had clients that have had no debt. I've certainly had high and ultra high net worth clients that had no debt. Frequently, they had business-related debt if they owned their own company. But they would have, say, no mortgage. And that's a great thing. If you can have no mortgage, great. But if having no mortgage means not being within commuting distance or within public transportation that you really want, not living in a school district where your kids can go to good public schools, maybe living in an area that's not so safe, maybe borrowing and having a mortgage is frankly the better choice in that circumstance, but just have borrowing that's within reason. All consumers have credit ratings assigned to them. Credit ratings are important. Be aware of your credit behavior and know your credit score. To have a good credit score, pay your bills on time, use credit responsibly, in line with your current financial situation. Be a responsible financial consumer. The credit rating agencies that most people know, the largest, are Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. They collect information about you and calculate credit scores. Calculating the scores, though, can be an arcane art. And what I mean by that is it's not always logical, like paying off all your debt. Sometimes having debt that you can service regularly is a better thing. So learn the composition of credit scores. Look online, read about it so you have some idea what the best choices to make are to improve your credit score. You don't want to live your life to have a high credit score. That's not, you don't want to get out of bed in the morning and think, how can I raise my credit score? But have a bias toward activities that raise your credit score, that show you're a good person to lend to. You have legal rights regarding who has access to your credit scores. There's a legal requirement and there's a specified purpose if there's a credit reporting error and you have a dispute. With a consumer credit complaint, first try to solve the problem with the creditor. And if that doesn't work, take more formal steps. Adverse information about you, poor credit information, can be reported for 7 years and a bankruptcy for 10. So know that these things stay on your credit report. So summary for credit and borrowing. Spend less than you earn. Plan spending as a manageable portion of your earnings. Borrow when necessary. You can read the rest of these. Be aware of the risks. Your credit score is important. Don't live your life to raise your credit score. Don't get up in the morning saying, how am I going to raise my credit score? But just have a bias toward keeping a high credit score and having good spending behavior. You have legal rights. And be alert, by the way, is one thing I haven't mentioned yet. Be alert for identity theft. Handle transactions and personal information with caution. Purchasing strategies. Timing. Be aware of when you buy things. I bought these boots in March or maybe even April. They regularly sell for, I think, $150 or $180, and I got them for maybe $70 or $80. Buy in the off season, right? Location. Don't purchase your milk and your eggs at a convenience store or the mall. Buy those at inexpensive grocers. Brand. Know when to spend for well-known brands and when not. Grocery prices. Unit pricing is key. Total price reflects the unit price times the size. Don't buy the huge, peanut butter at, some discount store, Costco, for example, when the unit price is too high. Make sure to look at the unit price. No purchasing trade-offs. More store convenience means generally higher prices. Ready-to-use products mean higher prices. Larger packages usually offer discounts, but check the unit prices. Watch promotions, sales that don't save you money, and know your product. Do your research. Follow the products you like online. Here's a great way to save money using coupons. This one is assembled by Millennial Money. Find the best deals online. Use things like coupons I just mentioned. Price comparisons. Shop on the right day. Find free shipping. Outsmart dynamic pricing in places like Amazon, for example. And try price matching. Some more ideas. Leave items in your shopping cart and let the vendor come back to you and say, are you sure you don't want to buy the product? Use the chat box. Follow your brands on social media. And some other ideas included here. Warranties are important. Right back in the corner, underneath the statue of Beethoven, is a little grotto, a little area that I store papers, and files, and things. And I had there this wireless transmitter I used for the graduation party of my daughter from high school and my son from college. And it has this wireless ability to, I didn't want to have to put wiring in for speakers for the party. And someone stood in front of it. It caused the wireless transmitter to overheat. And when I turned it all off later, I saw this bubble. Well, I put it all back in the box, put it back in that corner back there, and left it there. 2 years later, when it was out of warranty, I found it. I called the manufacturer and I said, it's not in warranty any longer, but would you honor the warranty? They said, send us photos and we'll give you a gift card. Well, they did that. I sent them photos. They sent me a gift card, which I was able to then use again, which was great. So a warranty is a guarantee from the seller or manufacturer that specifies the conditions under which the product can be returned. This manufacturer for my wireless transmitter said, we'll honor it. We'll honor it. It shouldn't do that, bubble up and overheat. These warranties are valuable. A full warranty states the defective product can be fixed or replaced during a certain period of time. A limited warranty has restrictions. Brand can confer some better warranty characteristics. So if you pay a little bit more for a better known brand, you might get a better warranty as well. Online complaints may produce some service responses, as you know, complaining at Twitter or Instagram, for example, or maybe Facebook. Know your new and used car warranties. Know what you're getting when you purchase a car. And service contracts can often charge a fee like a warranty, but it's really insurance. And know what you're going to do before you buy. Okay? So this was very quick. There's a lot of information here. I didn't read every piece of information on every slide. Read the slides. This is the second section of 2 for important personal finance issues for May 2021 graduates. I'm Tom Mihawk. You can find me at tommihawk.com, at YouTube, and at Resume Optimization at Instagram and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate having you watch my personal finance videos.